New voice for Poker Chase collaboration. This is referring to the game Poker Chase, which had a collaboration with Fukumoto. In said collaboration, of course, some of the characters were voice acted. However, they changed the voice actors so that they're different people from the ones that were in the anime. I'll let you get a little listen as to what they sounded like.
答えできません。
ふざけろ！そんな話があるか！
Fuck you。ぶち殺すぞ、ゴミめら。お前たちは皆大きく見誤っている。
So yeah, that's what they sounded like. The voice actor for Kaiji was Katsuyuki Konishi. He has voiced characters like Kamina from Gurren Lagann and Hisagi from Bleach. Tonagawa's voice actor's name is Banjo Ginga. That's probably not how you pronounce it, but I'm not sure. But he has voiced characters such as Dorian from Baki and Daniel Darby, the guy that Jotaro fought in poker from part 3. There were a few other voice actor changes, but those were the most obvious ones based off of the clip. Hyodo freestanding punching bag. This is referring to, of course, yet another Kaiji licensed product. This time being a punching bag with Hyodo's face on it, and some, I'm not exactly sure what they are, but some other characters in the corner. I thought this product looked cool, so I decided to make my own version at home.
Come to beat you up, old man. Hey, look at me. Dang, I punched his face off.
I'm gonna choke you for all you did. His neck, it's too fat. I can't choke him. You survived this time. I'll get you next time.
10 out of 10 experience. Definitely worth it. You should for sure buy this punching bag. Kaiji's jacket is blue. This is referring to a couple of times where Kaiji has been depicted wearing a blue jacket. These depictions seem to be due to a certain pachinko machine, and other than that, I'm not sure if there are any other depictions, but yeah, he has a blue jacket in this. Also, the pachinko machine, as of making this video, is so slightly off at 3%, which is that's like a Tei type thing right there. Save 3%, bruh. Now that is some meta storytelling. Life-sized Utsuki plush. This is, of course, referring to, a life-size Utsuki plush, which was first seen at the Kaiji exhibition, and there's at least 2 based off of these images, but where they ended up isn't exactly known. And as you can see, there's, this one, which could be that previous one, but, don't really know. There's also this, plastic-looking Utsuki, and this absolutely horrifying plastic Tonagawa. Ugh! So, yeah, if there was more than one of each of these made, you can't exactly tell, but there is at least these 2. And they seem to be out there somewhere, so hopefully they're not in a landfill. You're probably not going to be able to get your hands on one, but still, it's interesting to look at, especially because it's the plastic ones are one thing, but a plush, something about that just feels off. I mean, there have been plush manga and anime characters before, but for Kaiji and Utsuki no less, specifically him, and it's how tall he'd actually be, or at least, relatively similar. But yeah, that's the life-size Utsuki plush. Also, I'd just like to apologize for one thing here. The Tonagawa cat doghouse thing was supposed to be on this tier, but I accidentally used it for the past tier. So, yeah, sorry about that. Back to the regular stuff. Tonagawa sausage. This is referring to an item that the Tokyo Mystery Circus had back in October 2018. This item was, well, the Tonagawa sausage with the whole bowing down on the, grill thing. It cost 1,000 yen, which is roughly $6.50, and of course it had Asahi. It also had the bread thing in the background, as you can see. I'm not exactly sure what that was, but it's supposed to be the thing that clamps you down, so you have to, dogaza. Also, the more I look at this image, the more horrified I become, because I think, what if Hyodo, he's a pretty evil guy, so theoretically, in the past, has he forced someone to grill their sausage? That's just what was going through my mind as soon as I saw this. It wouldn't surprise me if he's done that at least once. Also, I was thinking it's kind of a pun to have, the sausage be the dogaza, because, sausages aren't necessarily hot dogs, but, they're kind of similar, so, depending on how much you stretched it, it could be a hot dog doing a dogaza, which is, I guess, kind of a missed opportunity there. But yeah, there you go, Tonagawa sausage. Horse used for the movie's promotional material. So yeah, in the promotion for the movie, they used a horse. I wasn't able to find its name, but holy crap, it looks dead inside, doesn't it? Either that or super worried. Do horses just look like that, or it's probably because of the intensity of being around Kaiji. Either that, or it's because it knows that it's going to be made into glue if it loses its next race. Also, it's not really related to it, but I did find this image, which I found funny, of Kaiji cheering on Haru Urara, and he's probably only doing it because he just bet 1.2 million yen on her and then realized that was a bad idea, but I thought that was funny. Early Kaiji designs in pachinko. This is referring to an older set of pachinko machines that were, for Kaiji, and the animations and designs are, of course, different, with it looking more dull, kind of like that early 2000s type of tone, kind of like the early One Piece. It reminds me a bit of that. It also sounds really goofy, kind of like a comedy anime. Just take a listen. So, yeah, it just sounds kind of goofy. There's also some old promotional material for it, and again, you can see bunny girls, which is Kaiji had it before, and it's like the Doofenshmirtz quote, the nickel twice. You've heard it 100 times. It reminds me of that, how many times Kaiji has had bunny girls in advertising for some reason. Kaiji and Girls RPG Cinder Life. Girls RPG Cinder Life is a game where you play as a hostess who is, well, a hostess. And so naturally, they decided to have a crossover with one of the greatest waifus of all time, Kaiji Ito. Also, I noticed that this is the design that he had when, he had escaped the underground mines and was going to go fight the bog. So this dude just escaped, prison or hell, whatever, and then he just goes to a hostess bar. Like, come on, bro. People are depending on you. I mean, it's not surprising. It's Kaiji, but like, come on, man. Also, another neat thing is that he wasn't the only crossover for this game. They also included characters such as Joe Yabuki, the Laughing Salesman, Lupin III, and Yujiro Hanma. I don't even know what to say. But yeah, that's pretty interesting. Kaiji masks. These were some masks that were sold at a Kaiji pop-up store, which is actually really interesting. So I figure I'll just take this chance to talk about it, as it doesn't appear in any other parts of the Iceberg. The Kaiji pop-up store was held in Umeda at November 26th, 2022. It would have recreations of many of the most popular scenes from the manga, even some from the parody series, which is interesting. Since this is a Kaiji store, they of course had a ton of different stuff that you could buy. For instance, keychains of Kaiji and the villains from Part 2. They also sold a sticker sheet of Utsuki and his gang. They also sold these weird plastic figurine things. I'm not exactly sure what they are, but hey, it's better than Funko Pops. This brings us back to the masks and how you got them. The masks were actually rewards for buying stuff. So when you checked out from the event, basically for every 5,000 yen worth of stuff that you bought, you would get another mask, with the upper limit being 20,000 yen for 4 masks. So anything past that, well, you're not going to get anything. For reference, 5,000 yen is about $30, so you'd have to pay a lot to get all those. Also, one last thing about the event, if you paid about 3,000 yen worth, then you could play an actual game of Chinchiro-ren. Real Kaiji in Tokyo Casino app. This is referring to a game called Tokyo Casino Project, and it had a figure skater named Nobunari Oda play Kaiji in an ad. For this role, he had a bunch of makeup on so that, he would have the huge Kaiji nose. And, well, he looks a lot like Kaiji. Though the nose is kind of discolored, but I think that it still looks pretty good. Apparently there's also a behind the scenes video of them putting the makeup on. So, against my better judgment, I put the link into Google, I searched it up, this is what I got. I'm just kidding. And to no surprise at all, what I actually got was just a dead link. But yeah, Oda really, I know, he really looks like Kaiji in this image. Bumping Butts Battle. Here it is, what you've all definitely been waiting for ever since I mentioned it in the 4th layer, the Bumping Butts Battle. And basically, at the, whole bunny girl thing, you could engage them in a Bumping Butts Battle. And there's actually some footage of it, which will be shown here.
思います。消灯も青で一番下だったので、さあどうかな。はい、残念。
There you go. That is the long-awaited Bumping Butts Battle. And with that comes to an end the penultimate layer of the Kaiji Iceberg.